you just have been feeling like you want to keep tearing down
I just love
people's
tearing motors down,
cleaning.
Cleaning guy, that's just my thing. Just can't get enough of it.
So we've got another 350 here. We want to do the most common, most generic engines we can.
And
to
as
keep
many
things,
of them as we can.
Yeah, to keep things really interesting for YouTube. But what's the story?
Well, the story is, in our last video, we tore down that 350 from a customer with 67 Camaro. It was actually an early 70s block. It was cracked wide open.
Yeah.
So my original plan before we tore that engine down was to use that Vortec block we had so we could put a factory roller cam in it and also gain the one-piece rear main seal.
Yep.
Have a motor sealed up a little bit better. Well, we get it apart. You watched us do that, and I didn't say too much at the time, but I was pretty disappointed that when I pulled that pan off, or we pulled that pan off, is just a 2-bolt main.
Yeah, on the
Vortec motor. The original motor was a 4-bolt, but the Vortec we was going to replace it with turned out to be a 2-bolt main. I personally don't think that would have made a bit of difference, but the general consensus of the keyboard warriors is if it's not a 4-bolt main, it's not worth building.
It's not going to be a crazy enough, wild enough build that it would make a difference.
No,
2-bolt, 4-bolt, regardless. But
we want to do it as good as we can to prevent any future problems. So I got to asking around, and one of our customers from out in Wiggins said he had a 4-bolt main early block. So I ran out there this morning bright and early while you were still in bed. Anyway, I picked up this motor, kind of sight unseen. About the only thing I can see here it has going for it is it hasn't been sitting outside in the weather.
Yeah.
This looks to be like it's been apart for a long, long time, gathering dirt and grease. Casting number 140-16379. I don't know exactly what years they made that casting, but this one, by the casting date, is a 1979, and you also check the serial number here on the front, and what you found and what the customer told me matches. It was a 1979 one-ton Chevy truck, manual transmission, that was actually a tow truck. It spent its life towing other cars back in, just flat worn out. That's all there is to it. So we're going to have to get this apart. Now,
and somebody already started for us.
Yeah, of course, they've used the heads off of it. They've had the oil pan off, and somebody has swiped one piston out of it.
And replaced it with a mouse nest.
Yeah, and well, that's fitting. Mouse motor, mouse nest.
There you go.
And as the other thing, that original 350 had a steel crank in it that I was not expecting to find.
Yeah.
And I really hated to not be able to use their steel crank. So with this block, we'll be able to put their steel crank back in. I'll grind it, be able to use that in here.
Yeah, there were a few comments that were kind of trying to imply that we were doing the customer a disservice by, oh, well, you took a 4-bolt, they had a 4-bolt main, and you sold them a 2-bolt main, and they had a steel crank, and now you're going to give them a cast crank. Most of that we didn't know ahead of the time.
No,
this was planned out before we knew it was a 4-bolt main, before we knew they had a steel crank. So that's where the video came from, and maybe in hindsight it did kind of come across as us downgrading things.
Yeah.
But with this, we'll be able to use their crank.
Yeah.
Are we going to use their old pistons?
I don't want to.
Okay.
That block had those 11-1 TRW pistons, old school TRW pistons in it. I would like to put
a fresh set
of pistons in it, and I'd like to drop the compression back down into the 10s. I want them to be able to drive this anywhere on pump gas. And I don't think the extra horsepower they would gain with it being 11-1 over 10-1 would justify the problems they could have if they got to tank a bad fuel.
Yeah.
Should we vacuum it off first?
Yeah, let's suck
That
up
was
all
kind of my
these.
plan here, is suck up some of the mouse.
And we had another customer just drop in with his wife and invite us to a boat race.
Yeah, how about
I didn't
that?
even know they had lakes big enough to race boats in here in Colorado. I mean, our lakes are what other people call ponds, I think.
That's right.
Formula One, Roar of the Rockies in Windsor.
I've heard of that before, but I just never really knew what it was.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we'll drop into that this weekend and
See what it's like. Interesting to see if this has a flat cam.
oh, well, they're definitely, if nothing else, they're varnished up enough that
We may have to
pull them out after the cam.
get the cam out, pull them after the fact. So yeah, this is our Bonafide tools. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, that makes balancer removal so easy. I can't believe it. Yeah, look at that. Okay, balancer is off. This having had the pan off before, there shouldn't be any oil in the bottom. Did you look at the bottom of these lifters?
Oh, that's really pitted, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, flat tappet cams have gotten a bad rap in the last few years.
That's way before.
Yeah, this is way before anybody was complaining about flat tappet cams. That is just normal wear. That motor we tore down the other day, I left that plastic gasket on the drain plug.
Makes a mess when you bake it.
Yes, it did. Melted and glued itself all over. Oh, look what's in there.
Jeez, how many mice were living in here?
Condominium in there. Look, one of them carried a rocker arm nut down in there. They thought that was an acorn. Instead, it was a... I think we got a good oil pan. That's always a plus.
Why can't I get this to turn?
Why didn't you center that up better? Cast crank. I was really hoping we'd get a steel crank out of this deal. I wonder why they took that one piston out. Probably used it in another engine. Doesn't look like the bearing was out.
No.
How come our last video there were several comments about our 16 millimeter socket? Actually, to the point I went back and looked because I thought, well, maybe I did have the wrong socket, but it's 5/8. So where'd that come from?
Because it's a Matco, so they saw an M or something? I don't know.
Look here, though. We got good oil.
One that's not bent to...
Yeah. There it goes. So there we have a good lower oil drain or dipstick tube. Reuse that timing set. Pre-stretched timing chain. Look how much timing changes. But it was not rubbing the cover yet. I have had them wear a hole through the cover. Is there a 2 in there?
No, but there's 2 5s.
There's going to be one rod that is not numbered. No, it goes together.
Why'd they start taking all the freeze plugs out?
I'm guessing this was sitting in a shop that wasn't heated, so he pulled the freeze plugs so it wouldn't freeze.
Okay. Show me the bearings.
Oh, those are the best we've had yet. Sit still for me.
Yeah, those look fine for a 79.
Yeah, these look a lot better than either of the other motors we tore apart. I mean, it looks like etched a little bit. Is that from moisture in the oil?
Maybe.
0.5 thousandths oversize. You can get a picture of that. So that tells me that that crank, when it was ground at the factory, came out a little bit on the large size. So they put a 0.0005 OS, 5 10 thousandths oversize bearing on there, meaning the bearing is actually thinner than most bearings on cranks from the factory.
One more.
Ouch. Those bolts have been in there longer than you've been alive.
Those bolts, yeah. That's true for almost every engine we work on.
Smells a little more like gasoline on this one.
But that's a different look than
The last motor we tore down that had antifreeze in it. A couple of scratches. Well, maybe not. That was oil. Actually looks pretty good. I think he told me this had 200,000 miles on it. Some motor he was looking at had 200,000 anyway. I wonder really why this one was taken out of service.
it really does look better than any of the ones we've torn down recently.
Yeah.
Kinda.
There it goes. Always cover that because sometimes pieces break off. I think I see why this engine was taken out of service.
Am I blind? Is it flat?
The cam's flat. Look at that lobe there.
Oh, it is.
Now, how is it that this motor can have a cam worn out that bad and the bearings are not all full of metal?
Because it had a good oil filter on it instead of...
Or did it happen slow enough over enough
enough
years that it was finer stuff that didn't chew bearings up?
Caught on something.
There it goes. I was going to say a different driver.
Come on.
There you are. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that weird?
It doesn't even look... I mean, it looks bad, but it doesn't...
It's not like the lifter we took out of the 350 couple motors back.
So what does that mean? Like you said, does that mean... Is that because it was such a gradual thing?
I think it was.
Or is that really how much better the old lifters were, that the cam takes out the lifter or the lifter takes out the cam? Because I feel like nowadays the cam and lifters that are flat that we see, both are wiped out.
Both are pretty bad. Well, I think we've got this apart far enough now to hopefully know we have a okay block.
Yeah, I don't see anything crazy, and
Yeah.
it seems to have been stock.
Yeah, everything's stock, nothing unusual, nothing to see here. So I'll need to get the cam bearings out, the rest of the freeze plugs that are not out, and galley plugs. We'll throw this in the oven, bake it tonight. Tomorrow, it can be glass beaded, cleaned, and checked out a little closer. But while you got the cameras running here, let's go wash our hands, and I want to show you what I've been doing on the heads. Can we do some of that? You can stay like that if you want. I don't care. Looks like a tattoo on your arm. So, the original 350 engine had these Edelbrock E-Force heads on it. Pretty new, hadn't been run very long. But again, they've had the coolant running through them just like the rest of that engine did. So anyway, we've got them tore down, cleaned up, and I'm checking them over here to make sure everything's good. And that includes, I go through and I look at every single bolt hole on these, make sure all the threads look good. These do have helicoils in the rocker arm stud holes here on top to give it a little more strength. Bronze Guides had the bigger springs on the heads out of the box. But you know that, what was it we did the other day? He was working, a W-Series engine that he was working on. Even though they were brand new heads, a lot of times you can go through and touch up the seats, make them better. I think that's what needed to have been done with these and what we're going to do at this time. One of the things I was surprised about is how much wear there is on the valve, and you'll have to take that and maybe hold it somehow so the viewers can see. I mean, there's literally visible wear on that valve, and it's almost new yet.
Yeah.
And if you look down on this side, you can very visibly see where it's worn through the chrome.
Turn it a little bit as you talk about it. So.
Okay. You can see where, there it's nice and shiny. And then you come to that spot that's all dull. That's where it has worn through the chrome plating on that stem. So I think we better put a new set of valves in these. I got a hold of some of these, is it nitrided? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Valves. They have the more of the black finish to them instead of the chrome plating. The chrome plating on a stem is just that. It's a plating on there that you will eventually wear through. This actually embeds itself into the parent material.
Yeah, it's like a hardening process.
But I see this a lot on a lot of the foreign cars will have this. It's a big thing in diesel valves now. It's just maybe a different idea of how to harden that stem and make it as smooth as possible so it doesn't wear the guides. And if you want to come over here, I have one of the heads already mounted up. I measured my valve stems, transferred that measurement here to the gauge. 0 on here is exactly what my valve stems are. And when I check my valve guides, there's virtually no wear in the guides. Exhausts come out about 2 thousandths clearance. The intakes from the factory on these heads are just a little bit tighter, maybe around 1.5. Every one of them I go through is in that range. I'm okay with that range, but I will take our diamond hone, and I'll show you that when I get to that point. I'm just going to run that through all the guides, just barely touch them, make sure they're good, make sure there's no burrs or anything inside them. My valve springs. The springs that come on these heads are installed at 1.8 inch, are supposed to have 125 pound seat pressure, supposed to have 320 pounds at 500 lift. Maximum lift is 550 before you need to go to a different style spring. We're going to be using a CompCam's Extreme Energy 270 HR grind.
Okay.
That cam has intake and exhaust is a few thousandths different, but it's right at 500 thousandths lift. And from what I can research of the springs they recommend for this cam, we want to be right in the range of, with this spring 132, this one was 137 pounds installed height. This spring installs at 1.750, this one installs at 1.7. This one at 500 thousandths lift is 293 pounds. This one was 277. And I started checking these springs here using our spring tester here and measuring how much pressure they have. If I go back with these original springs that were on the heads and I shim them, I actually went through and measured every single spring. If I shim them, it looked like 35 thousandths. That puts me on average right at 135 pound seat pressure. And at 500 thousandths lift, we just got done measuring one here now. And what was it, just shy of 300 pounds?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to put us in a good spot for this hydraulic roller cam.
Okay.
So I think we can reuse the springs that were on the heads just by shimming them an additional 35 thousandths.
Use the nitrided valves.
Use the nitrided valves.
Touch hone the guides.
Yeah, I think they will go in these heads, work real nice.
And do a nice little touch-up valve job.
We're going to do a nice 3-angle touch up on these. See if we can get them all pretty consistent in depth and surface the heads. And I think the heads will pretty much be done at that point. So what else do you have questions about on what we're doing here?
I don't think I do. I think you just need to get it done.
Okay.
Do those vacuum right now?
Be interesting to see.
Looks like a used head.
Yeah, it's not that bad. That's about how a used head.
It's not that good.
No,
but it ain't that bad.
No, we've certainly seen worse. There's the exhaust side.
And honestly, no. Hey, that's pretty good too. With no valve stem seal, no spring on it.
Yeah, and that would run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it can be better.
It can be better. It wouldn't show its full potential, but it would run. The fill. That one can improve a lot. Let me get set up here, and I'll film some of doing these valve seats.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going home.
All right, see you tomorrow. So, does this look a little different than it did yesterday?
Looks a lot different.
A lot different?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've baked it and glass beaded it here. When I went to get this block, I took the Magnaflux tool with me, anticipating checking it before I bought it. It was so dirty, I didn't even try. Good.
Powder doesn't really pull across a 1/4 inch of grease.
No, it doesn't work good when it's all greasy like that. But anyway, at this point now, we can check it. Another place these often crack if they've been frozen is they'll crack out of this lower drain hole here, kind of goes across towards the freeze plugs, or it may push the block open right along this edge here. And this one is...
It's good to show people that because
yeah,
they hop on Craigslist. Well, nobody uses Craigslist. Maybe I just showed my age there that I mentioned Craigslist instead of Facebook, but they hop on Marketplace and go buy a block.
And same way here, if I was going to give this a visual inspection, I would look real close around this drain hole and especially right along the side here.
So, like, did you guys used to check the classifieds if you wanted to buy a block?
We did. Yeah. That used to be the thing when I first started out. If you wanted to sell something, you had to call up the local newspaper and place a classified ad.
You can only tell so much visually, but looking at it, it looks really nice. And there's wear, but I think it would have gone more if that cam hadn't gone flat.
I'm going to attempt, I don't know if it'll happen or not. This cylinder here seems to be one of the worst ones. I'm going to attempt to make this a 20 over block. If not, I know it'll make a 30.
Okay, so let's get to work on the heads. I think we can feel pretty comfortable that the block is buildable.
We've got a block that will be buildable for us at this point. So we'll get started on the heads where we left off yesterday.
Are you trying to keep future videos under wraps
yeah,
here,
you weren't supposed to show anybody that.
Oh, okay. Cleaning guy's been whining something about his neck hurting, getting old, I don't know. I'm not really buying it, but I'm going to go ahead and do these heads.
My neck and my back.
Huh?
My neck and my back hurt.
Yeah, well, whatever. No, so he's going to start getting the surfacer switched over from whatever setup he was doing last there. I'm going to touch home these guides real quick like we talked about. So I'm picking out our valve guide pilot. This is an 869 millimeter or 0.3421, and it like barely starts in these intakes, but it won't actually go in. But if I use an 868, so 4/10,000ths of an inch smaller, it goes in and is a real nice fit. So that way we're running the minimum amount of clearance as we can between our tooling and the valve guide itself. I'm starting with the intake seats here, and I've got a cutter that looks to match what these heads were from the factory pretty decently well. But I want to make sure that the way that I set it up at a diameter that it's not, our seat is not going to be contacting the valve face too far out. So we have this little tool that we can use to it's basically just a pointer that we can point to the very outside edge of this valve face here. I'll adjust it out a couple times. So about right there, it's pointing right to the very outside edge of this valve. And if I compare that to my cutter that I have set up, again, this is going to be probably pretty difficult for you guys to see the different angles on that cutter, but the seating angle is within that valve face. So it's not like if I cut this right now, it's going to be off the face of the valve, and that's what I wanted to make sure. Guess I should probably level the head.
Guess you should level?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea.
So now I'm just going to double check where we're seating now that that cleaned up fully. I'd like to be in the middle of the face or maybe slightly outboard. I think that's a really good spot. That cut really nice. Let's see if we can make the other three on this head match. That one took a little more. That's really good. With no seal of any kind, no spring. My finger covering the rocker hole. That one's even better. Even better. I'll take it. 0, 3 or 4 higher, maybe 2 below, and maybe 2 higher. That's pretty reasonable for a used set of heads being recut. With where it's currently seating on the exhaust valve, I want to pretty much keep it in exactly the same spot. So I set up my cutter accordingly. I know the light makes it hard to pick that up, but I think we're matching it well. Just kind of cutting it by hand. You can see it's cut a little bit on the bottom and a little bit on the top there. And I think
where that top angle meets the seating surface is a pretty good match. I'm going to be done with that one pretty quick here, so you better hurry up.
Well, that's good. So let me get going here. So I set up the rollover fixture on here. I put the head on here and got it as level as I can with the bubble to the point I called it good there. And then just to make sure, I put dial indicator on here. And I think as I go across here, other than some of the little imperfections you see,
looks pretty dang good.
yeah, I think we're real close. I don't think there is any warpage in this head. So we're kind of doing this mostly just to make sure it's okay. This does have, you can see some rings in here where the sealing ring and the head gasket they used before actually
Kind of seated into
seated into the head. And we're going to use those Chromatic MLS multi-layer steel. That's hard to say.
You're learning. Yeah, the cleaning guy's learning.
The cleaning guy's learning. But I also took the pain pills for my neck, so maybe I'm half out of it.
Maybe you shouldn't be running this thing.
I probably shouldn't. So let's see what happens.
Did you take my oil can that has the green oil in it? Here it is. Oh, too small. I should have gone out a little bit. Okay, we'll adjust it out. Dang it. There we go. That's where we wanted to be on the first go around. Here, I'll show on the other camera. First seat I cut, I was pretty small actually, like quite a bit smaller than that. Probably double the amount of green showing there between the edge of the valve face and where it's actually seating. But now we've got it. That one's cutting aluminum a little bit there on the backside. I don't know. It's really hard to see. They're all off a little bit towards me. All pretty dang good. About 5 deep. These all came out within 10 of each other, if not better. We could sell those to Hollywood for like filming Christmas movies or something.
Probably should. Maybe we'll have to have a special Christmas show or something.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Pretty. It's up to you. I didn't know if you wanted to do a slower finish cut or if you...
Seeing as how this will have the MLS gaskets and needs to have a really, really good finish.
Take a half thou cut.
Half thou cut at half speed of what I did.
Maybe. So the cleaning guy is getting set up here to go ahead and grind our valves. They are brand new valves, but we trust these valves. We just think we can do a better job on grinding the face of them.
We think we can. We don't know for sure yet. It's a little different.
Sounds a lot different.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of these things where they're good enough out of the box, but we know we can make them better.
Yeah.
So why not take the...
Or at least we can check them and see that they're either good enough out of the box or need a little help.
Yeah. I mean, it takes 10 minutes to grind a set of valves. It's not pretty cheap insurance.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it kind of seemed like they did slip a little bit, but maybe not.
So what do you like to put on there now?
Stainless steel polish.
Like that?
Yeah.
That enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Here goes.
Okay.
2.5 thousandths, half thousandths last cut here. 70 millimeters per minute.
Pretty slow cut. But hopefully by having that on there, like some of this streaking.
Yeah, there's some spots. It actually, well, it'll come across and it'll leave a little piece stuck to it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's when it picks up an imperfection in the aluminum.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Got the second head done. On this one, we sprayed the stainless steel polish on it for that final cut. helps maybe kind of lubricate the cut a little bit. And we came out, whoops, cycle through this again so you can see it. 21 RA on this one. So now let's get them into wash and we'll get them assembled. I know we could have bolted those right on the new motor the way they were probably, but I think they're a lot nicer now.
Well, I think they're a lot nicer, and we have better valves
Yeah,
in them because we did have some wear on some of them stems.
that's true.
Is this still working?
Should be.
But is it?
It should be. I usually don't
Talk,
find
talk,
out
talk,
that
talk,
it's
talk.
not working until about 2 in the morning on Sunday morning, right before my video is supposed to go live, and I realize half my footage is junk. What are we thinking the install height is supposed to be on this? So we're shooting for like 1.760?
Yeah, but I guess I can go ahead and put the valves in, can't I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
I'm not used to heads not having the rocker arm studs on them.
in.
Oh, you know what?
What?
We're not using the right lube on this. I think this is one of them things, a little bit goes a long, long ways.
So as long as you have some on there?
As long as you have some. And you know that bottle's getting kind of empty. So you'll have to keep track. These 2 exhaust valves, if anything goes wrong with them, it's because they were too spicy.
I know I didn't sink them that far. 1.827?
These valves are just a little bit different.
Okay. Start doing math and start laying out shoes. Uh, 31. I would say they're pretty dang consistent as far as not needing something on intake only or exhaust only.
Right. Well, I think our valves are a little closer to being the intake and exhaust same length. The others were.
Kind of all over.
Yeah. I think you need a 60,000 shim under every single one and call it good. Because if you put another 15 with a 60, it puts you at 75.
Yeah. 69 is closer to 75 than 60, but...
Okay, well, where is the line? It would be 60, 67 and a half. So maybe that one, that one, that one,
those two.
that one.
So 60s on all of them, and an extra 15 on half of them almost.
On 5 of them.
I can't believe it takes 2 guys to put cylinder heads together.
We're just wanting to make sure we're getting this right.
I'm just having fun.
Well, that's the only reason I'm doing this.
2, 5, 7, and then these 2.
Where are our little shields? Although we probably don't need to use the shields on these because those are tapered. Sometimes the keeper grooves are just real sharp and you can't get a seal on without
Barring it.
But these are actually tapered, so we won't have to have a shield on there.
Tight.
Get the springs on them and then test them, see what they're like.
I know what they're like.
Getting kind of cocky.
I'm not cocky. I'm confident. It's the difference. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, vacuum doesn't drop at all. Is that better?
I was like, something ain't right. Does that work?
Yeah, that should work.
I knew they would be. Those cut so nice. And I bet they would do that even without the valve spring on there, just for the video viewers or whatever. By the time we got the valve stem seal on there, that's where it was leaking or whatever. And on the intake, it's probably leaking out your finger more than. Looks good.
Yeah, I'm pleased.
Okay.
Well, good. We have a block lined up, ready to go, and we have the heads ready to go back on when we get the block done.
You gotta grind a crank.
Yeah, I've got to grind a
Do
crank,
rods. Or
resize
decide what to
rods.
do with rods.
I ordered main bolts and rod bolts, so they'll be here Monday,
Okay.
so we can do the rods and the crank.
All right.
Rods, crank, and the block.
We'll keep rolling on that. I got to get the W assembled before you can assemble this, so.
Okay.
Or I'd like to.
Yeah.
I guess I don't
Well-
have to.
Well, why don't you work on that next week, see if you can get it together.
Alrighty.
All right.
Stay tuned for the next one.
See you next week.